Hey guys, Nici in Real Estate here. I am your real estate agent, Nici Mathis with eXp Realty. Here I have in the studio with me Miss Ashley Lawson, CEO and founder of Resourceful Solutions.
Yeah.
Hey Ashley,
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
So I was tasked with finding an accountant. I had a couple of real estate clients that needed some CPA activity in their life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I asked all of my family and friends, "Hey, who's your CPA? Who do you get to do your taxes?" And people, when I need something for a client, it's different from when I need something for myself. When I need something for
Yes.
myself, I can be patient. When I need something for a client, I'm like, no, I need
Yeah.
I need this
Prompt.
yesterday. And so I
Yes.
jumped on all of these different Facebook groups and put this post out there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I need a tax prep person ASAP. Who's the best? And I kept getting all of these people, all of these people, all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And so first of all, Ashley did not say herself. She tagged her own professional Facebook page, but I noticed her post because my sister's name is Ashley. And if anybody knows me, they know I have a very, very open, very, very fluid relationship with God. And so I be
Yes.
taking things as signs and wonders. So yeah, I saw Ashley. I'm like, And so I clicked on the page. Miss Ashley, when did you find or found Resourceful Solutions and why? What's the background story with that?
So I've started my company because as a mom, I have two boys and a little girl. So at the time, my oldest son was having a lot of behavior issues, being disobedient. We had to do like a lot of medication change, therapy changes, and I was working for Geico. But eventually, I missed so much time, I had to leave Geico and figure out a way to make money. So at that point, I was in college for accounting. So I was like, why not go ahead and start working for tax companies? I enjoyed meeting people. I enjoyed the excitement. I enjoy everything about that environment because you never know what to expect. So
Did
then
you
I was
just say
like,
taxes was exciting?
I did. I did. And believe it or not, I hated math in school. I did. Math was never my favorite subject. It was actually writing.
Mm,
But I guess I had the excitement of like, wow, I helped somebody. Wow, I changed the outlook of somebody's life just dealing with their finances. So
yeah.
it was more impactful for me than just crunching in a bunch of numbers. I had to learn what these numbers meant. I had to learn their situations and how I could better help them. I had to dig into research. So that ongoing challenge of not knowing everything and being able to help somebody was my drive. And then, like I said, being a mom, I was able to make an income for my family and still operate a business. Like I said, I never dreamed of owning a business, but it just birthed out of a personal circumstance. And then I started Resourceful Investments. I ran with that company name for a little while after learning about banks and SBA and liability names. I eventually changed the company name to Resourceful Solutions, understanding the dynamics of the word investments and how it looks to creditors per se. And I'll say, that's perfect. Just Resourceful Solutions because I do try to be resourceful and give you that solution to your problem. So that's how we became birth, and I love it. So I consider my business more so not just your typical accounting firm, but one that loves to educate and help the next person elevate into their next situation. Give them an understanding that way going forward, you won't have to try to figure it out on your own, and making sure my customers know, hey, I got you back 100%. I'm open all year long. I do a lot more than accounting, so I just love people. Really, that's just honesty. I've been food service. I've been almost in every work industry. But bottom line, I love to serve people.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And so, met you online, met you on Facebook, inboxed you, asked you, could we talk? Because you know how it is when you meet people online, you don't know who you meeting.
Yes.
But our first conversation was so, so, so good. And so I asked you, could we meet with my prospective coach? Because this is someone that has been coaching me in real estate to get my business off the ground. I've been in real estate since February 14th of this year.
Coming to the end.
Again, I love to help people. I know what God did for me with the purchase of our first home. I know what God did for me with the purchase of our second home. I'm someone who was once homeless with 4 children. And so to be able to help other people reach that American dream of home ownership and to be able to rebirth that in people, even with the economy being the way that it is, and it being a faith walk as well, because, you know, there's so much that we do in the natural, but then there's that whole side of our faith and what it really means and all of those things. So this coach, he took real estate and made it fun again, right? He helped remind me of why I got into real estate in the first place, because I was doing it the way they was telling me to do it.
Right.
One phone call in particular, there was this girl. I'm an introvert, so even though I have my podcast, that's something God told me to do. I don't care.
That's right. We gotta be obedient to the calling. Yeah.
I don't like talking. I like helping people, but I don't like talking. And so even though I'm an introvert, I think the craziest thing in the world is for one, God to give me a podcast, and two, for him to make me a real estate agent, because you got to talk to people.
Yes.
And so I was calling all of the contacts in my phone. Hey, girl, hey, I know I've never called you a day in my life, but I'm a real estate agent now. So do you want to buy some real estate? So this one conversation went rogue. It went bad.
Wow.
Like, girl, what you calling me for? I feel like there's some ulterior motive. Like, we need to be friends first before you call me back. And I'm like, and my feelings were so hurt. Like, I stopped calling everybody in my phone. So I really was trying to be a successful real estate agent without talking to my sphere for like a whole 2-3 weeks.
Right.
And so Paul was like, hey, do it backwards, the opposite of what everybody else is doing. Why don't you develop those people that would help you develop your business and help them develop their business and see how it has an effect on your business, instead of always going to the client. Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy a house? Go back to your first love, which is helping people. Okay. Well, part of the process of buying a house is having your finances together. Not everyone has good credit, right? Not everyone filed their taxes correctly. You know, if we're trying to get the most of our tax refund back, we might be hiding a little bit of our hand from Uncle Sam.
Yes.
Will disqualify us when we're trying to buy a house.
Yes.
And so, okay, it's easier for me to ask that kind of question and see if you need my help or need me to hook you up with somebody who will help you, than it is for me to just always ask, do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy a house?
Right.
So, a couple of questions for an accountant who filed taxes. A lot of us never dreamed about being an entrepreneur, right? So with me being a real estate agent and making X amount of dollars every 3 or 4 months or so, how often as an entrepreneur should I be filing my taxes? Like you said, you work all year round. And I'm like, why would you do that when we only file taxes in March and April?
Yes. So you do only file taxes through that time period. That's a deadline that you're supposed to file. However, you still got the IRS extension to October 15th. And the realization is, for entrepreneurs or business owners, they are too busy trying to get their employees' files together. They're too busy running the business where they don't have too much time to take care of their personal affairs. So that way, when October 15th ends, a lot of tax and accounting companies are closed. So then they have nowhere to go to. So being that I'm open all year long, I'm open for taxes, I'm open for notary services, I'm open for grant writing, I'm open for virtual assistant services, marketing, website designs, because I do all of these things. So when they find some downtime, I'm the first person they call because I'm the only one that's open. I'm available for them. They know, like, hey, I missed two or three deadlines, but I know Ashley's going to get it right. So that's the realization. I can't ignore being an entrepreneur myself of what our life is like. So I keep that in mind and try to be there for small business owners and even some personal individuals. They got to take care of their parents. They can't make that deadline. So I'm just make sure I'm available. And like I said, they could come in the office, virtual, whatever they need. I want to make sure I stay open. I never turn a client away. I'm always available.
So if I am an entrepreneur and I filed so that I wouldn't have to pay a lot of taxes back this year, but I'm thinking about buying a house within the next 12 months, what would you suggest that I do? How should I file? Is it going to cause the IRS to come audit me, come after me?
By any means, if the IRS audits you, you will be penalized because they have to spend extra labor hours to go after you to make sure you reported everything you're supposed to do. Now, if they're finding it's inconsistent or you've done everything right, then you're good to go. But yes, you will be penalized as an entrepreneur. The thing about us, and I say us as a whole, because a lot of us are not educated on how to properly deal with our tax situation. We're not educated enough to know, hey, even though I'm self-employed, I still have to pay in taxes on my business. And if I'm a 1099 under the company or W-2, I still got to pay taxes regardless. So the best way as an entrepreneur, if you don't have a payroll system in place, is to get tax planning. The tax planning will give you an analysis based off the summary that you make within a year to estimate how much taxes you'll owe the federal and how much you owe the state. That way, when you do file your taxes, you won't have a big hefty bill at the end, because when it comes to you guys as a realtor, you're looking at the debt to income ratio, and the IRS situation does matter. So if they have proper bookkeeping, even if they did it themselves, just keep records of all their expenses will offset what they owe the IRS. But at the end of the day, you still want to put a nest egg to the side to make sure you set those taxes aside, because you still responsible for paying taxes regardless of what entity you're in or what you do. Everyone is responsible for that. So the
So
best. Mhm,
that's something that you offer, but is that like
mhm.
that tax planning thing? Is that something that I could get off of like TurboTax or something? What if I'm used to filing my taxes myself?
No, TurboTax only assists with W-2 filing and some Schedule Cs. I actually partner with them. They won't go in depth to the full business side, and that's how their program is. You will have to talk with a more seasoned professional to help you with the tax planning, or you can Google tax brackets for 2025 and 2026, or what the federal mandate. Those two calendars are out, and you also have to look up the Georgia employment tax rate and do your calculations from there. So you don't necessarily have to pay an accountant to help you. You could Google it and do the math yourself, and it gives you based off your income. So if your income is like $0 to $10,000, then you're in the 12% bracket. If your income is 10,000 to, I want to say, like 40,000, then you're in the 22%. So 22% of your income goes to the federal government. In the state of Georgia, it used to be, I think our income rate is now like 5.19%. So out of that yearly
Miss
income amount,
Ashley,
you have to multiply. I'm telling you, that's why you call me.
Miss Ashley, if my face was an emoji right now, it'd be the head explosion emoji. She just said 10%, 22%, all the
Uh-huh.
stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. How much she charge for tax planning, Miss Ashley? No, y'all call her. Please just call.
So
Please
for
just
a
call her.
consultation, it's just $100 for your consultation, and I'll let you know how much money to put aside each month. And what offsets what you owe the IRS is your business expenses. Make sure you claim as much as you can. You itemize, you depreciate stuff. That's what's gonna help. And I tell people the positive way to look at it is look like you're saving some money, because whatever you overpay in taxes, that's your refund.
Mm.
So it's some calculation.
Bro. So another thing is, last tax season, I actually had to file our taxes myself because the person that I had been going to for a couple of years had decided that they were going to take a couple years off,
Okay.
right? And so, yeah, the one thing my perspective coach said that really rung a bell with me is that we get our second opinion on vacations. We get a second opinion when we go to the doctor. We get a second opinion when we're about to buy a house. We get a second opinion about everything, even our outfit. You know, one thing we do not get a second opinion on?
Taxes.
Our taxes. And so It's crazy to me that we don't get a second opinion to see if our tax preparation specialist or if our accountant got us back the absolute best refund, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know about you, but sometimes, like, if you got me to prepare your taxes for you, I'm just gonna follow TurboTax. That's just because I don't know all the stuff she just said, y'all. I don't know none of that stuff. So, what would it look like for any person watching this video to get a second opinion from Ashley with Resourceful Solutions?
Yes, so I do welcome it, but I don't offer it for free. Being majority of the returns does have to be reviewed by me. I don't have the capacity to just offer those free services. So I do charge $75 to get a second opinion, and they can make the determination if they want to pursue with me or pursue with who they went to. I make it very clear that in this industry, I don't, degrade another company. I don't degrade another tax professional. The thing is, all of us have different levels of knowledge and expertise. So just because, I may done something one way and your taxpayer probably didn't know. I do let them know when you go to franchises like H&R Block, Freedom Tax, Jackson Hewitt, think about your scenery. Every year you see new people. Every year you may see a manager that's consistent, but you got to think about it. These new faces that you see, they're entry level people. They're just learning the basics to get the job done. They're not seasoned. They're not mastering in this. So that's the difference between where you go versus someone that's seasoned, that's mastered, that's consistent in obtaining the tax knowledge for the federal and the state. So people just got to be mindful of that. So if you have the simplicity returns with the simple W-2s and nothing else, no real estate, no business, then yeah, by all means, go there. They could take care of you. But if you have much more complex returns, it's best to invest in somebody that sees it, that masters in what you do to make sure that you maximizing the refund. So that's very important because it's no different when I want to get my hair done. Most of us not gonna try a new beautician. We want somebody that's been doing hair for a while, that, has great reviews, that has years of experience. It's the same. So when it comes to our personal finances, you got to think about that, be considerate as well.
So, if I could have access in this economy, so I think a couple of days ago they said the national rate, interest rate
Mhm.
for home ownership is right at six something percent. If you knew that there was a loan product out there for 1.5 to 2 points lower than the national average, what would you be saying to your clients, the clients that you have watched year after year,
I'm
and you
telling them
know
to
they're
call
ready?
Christina. I was like, look, call Christina. You got to. When I met you, you were probably the most, matter of fact, you are the most resourceful realtor I've ever met. And the information that you shared when I told you information about my client in Wadley, I was like, I never heard a realtor talk about that. But for you to take the time to just inform and know it off the top of your head, I'm just like, that's amazing. And even when I met Mr. Paul, like he really just impressed me. Like he blew me off the roof. So I'm telling you now, when I'm ready, I'm calling Christina. That's why I'm like, girl, I'm sharing your stuff. Send me your content because a lot of realtors, and like I said, I'm not judging anybody how you do your business, how you do your business. But I'm a human being. I like to relate to my people. And what I learned is people like to work with people that's relatable. They want to work with people that has their best interest, that could really understand what they're going through. And that's what I see in you. So I absolutely love your professionalism. I love your connectivity. I love the fact that you can say, yeah, that's the typical circumstances with a lot of companies, but there's more options. You don't have to, stay with this lender. You don't have to, stay with this person. If this is not going to happen, why go under distress when there's somebody that will do what another person won't? And that's what I got from you. So I'm telling you, call Christina.
So, one thing that me and my husband did personally, we saved an entire tax refund to be the down payment on our first home. And so, with a product like that out there, would you be suggesting that to people who used to rent or are renting, who, you know, dream of their own 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, whatever, on their little acre lot with a HOA or no HOA. Personally, I live in an HOA community. The next time, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But would you suggest that people start to think about doing something like that with their tax return instead of buying a car or instead of going on vacation or something like that? With you seeing so many people's legacies, what would you suggest?
Absolutely. I would suggest that they put the bulk of their tax return or all of it to the side, but don't just let that be your down payment. Just keep in mind that there are resources and programs out there to assist them, such as the first time home buyer grant. There's other programs, you know, a ton of programs that can assist depending on their situation. But I will also advise them to be realistic. What I do when my customers tell me they want something, I make them sit down with me and write everything they want to do. I make them do their vision board right in front of me. And then I also make them write their expenses, their income. And when they look at it, I'm like, no, really look at it. There's a lot of expenses that you could cut to where you could save money. Like, for instance, we have probably 20 TV subscriptions. For what? We can't watch them all at one time. Let's cut that money. Okay. We eat out. Well, let's save some of that money too. That what the average meal for one person is like 20.
Yes.
So that's $25. I'll probably spend 5 or 10 cooking at home that I could put in a savings account to build onto my tax refund to get that down payment. So this tax season for people with children, incomes are expected, the refunds are expected to be a little bit bigger. So if you got like let's say a $4,000 refund off one child, go ahead and put it to the side. Go ahead and look at what you could cut off, what's not a necessity, and whatever money you would have spent, go ahead and put it in the pot to continue to save. Go ahead and get those certificates for the first time home buyer. Go ahead and see what other programs that can help you with assisting with the down payment and the closing costs. That way, possibly by the end of that year, you'll be in a brand new house. You don't have to wait 2 or 3 years. I don't want people to get discouraged, but that's our reality. We don't know how much activity we have going on until we sit down and write it down. And we don't think about the numbers. That's the key, the numbers, and how much money we're really spending until we write it down.
Yep. That's so true. I have a real estate savings account. And so even though I own my own home, my goal is to become a real estate investor. And so I want to purchase another property, get another property. And so my savings this year, I just did this like a couple weeks ago. I just started putting it in there because, hey, there's somebody gonna have a tax lien somewhere. I'm gonna be
That's
able
right. That's right. They
I'm
come
gonna
out
be
at
able-
the end of the month. So you'll know that first week of every month is already listed in somebody's newspaper and on the city website.
So I saw
Yes.
I saw a client that scooped up a nice little $200,000 property for $3,000, and that thing has
Wow.
for a long time. Hey, when you learn from the best, you learn from the best.
Yes. Oh, wow.
All right. So, how do my clients and how do my viewers and your viewers get in contact with Resourceful Solutions?
My phone number is 478-217-14, and you get me directly. You can also visit my website at resourcefulcorp.com. My email is info@resourcefulcorp.com or alawson@rcinvestments.org.
And there it goes. Guys, you need a second opinion. You always need a second opinion. And this lady knows her stuff. I've been able to send commercial and residential clients to her. She has handled all of them with care. I have never had a bad review. And yes, Resourceful Solutions is definitely the answer.
Thank you.